F-35 fighter jet new upgrade marks future of air combat. The Lockheed Martin's F-35 made for the U.S. military is considered to be the most advanced fighter jet ever made in the history of aviation. But recently, even more modifications were made to make it even more advanced in terms of air combat. Recently, a U.S. Navy F-35 fighter jet's been spotted flying along California's Sequoia National Park with something new and unique. A shiny metallic coating, similar to tiles, was visible covering the majority of the plane. What could this coating be, and what purpose does it have? In this video, we'll be discussing how the U.S. F-35 fighter jet's new upgrade marks the future of air combat. So make sure to stay with us till the end of the video to find out how these shiny coatings are going to make these stealthy enough planes even less visible. In recent days, a number of United States military aircraft have been spotted with a highly reflective finish. In November of 2021, a United States Air Force F-22 was the first of a series of jets to be seen sporting a unique coating resembling a mirror. The reflective sheen on the wings and fuselage of the aircraft was captured in photographs taken by Santos Courses while the aircraft was taking off from Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. It was taking part in an aerial war game that was being held by the Air Force Weapons School integration, which involved numerous different types of aircraft. Rich Triano, a plane spotter, captured video of the identical jet at approximately the same time. A couple of months later, in the middle of January 2022, the website The War Zone stated that another photographer had captured a USAF F-117 flying over the Saline military operating area in California, while sporting a reflective coating that was quite similar to the one they'd seen before. Although the U.S. Air Force stopped using the F-117 as a frontline type in 2008, it has continued to operate some of the first-generation stealth attack jets for purposes of training and testing. Photographer Elijah Delgadillo caught an F-35C with a mirror coating from Experimental Squadron VX-9 flying along the Sidewinder low-level path in California's Sequoia National Park a few days after the F-117 sighting. But the F-35's airframe had tiles in the shapes of rhombuses, triangles, and squares, arranged in a mosaic pattern. This pattern was different from the one that was spotted on the F-22, with the mirror-like finish that was discovered a year ago. That design had a combination of squares, trapezoidal, and quite triangular shape panels. Not just the F-22, F-117, and F-35, but also other U.S. aircraft types have been spotted in the air with the reflective paint. Reflective surface versions of scaled composites experimental Model 401 plane were spotted flying over the Mojave Desert in California in the year 2020 during the month of June. So the question arises, why are so many U.S. airplanes being modified to have the shiny surfaces that are being reported on multiple occasions? Well, let's find out. The F-35C spotted in California belongs to the Navy's Air Test and Evaluation Squadron 9, VX-9, also known as the Vampires. Air Test and Evaluation Squadron 9, Detachment Edwards Air Force Base, VX-9 Det Edwards, is the Navy Operational Test Unit which flies, maintains, and tests F-35C Lightning IIs. The unit is based out of China Lake, California, and is part of VX-9. As of 2017, VX-9 Det Edwards has been flying the F-35C as part of the JSF Operational Test Team, which also includes operational testers from the United States Air Force, U.S. Marine Corps, Royal Air Force, Royal Navy, and Royal Australian Air Force, as well as contract and government employees. The F-35C is being integrated into the fleet, and the VX-9 Det Edwards is responsible for operational testing and analysis of new capabilities and weaponry. Although it is shore-based, the command occasionally sends out detachments to other installations to carry out its duties. Even though we still don't know the full story behind these finishes, it's believed that they help reduce the signature of already stealthy aircraft, particularly in the infrared spectrum, without having a significant impact on the radar cross-section of the aircraft. This is something that we still don't know for sure. It's possible that this also has something to do with making the sensitive, low observable skin of the aircraft more resilient and easier to maintain over time. It is not clear whether these particular coatings are intended to be representative of something that could be applied to operational aircraft, or whether they're simply being utilized for the purposes of research and development, as well as test and evaluation in their current condition. It is a widely held belief that the program New Coverage for U.S. Fighters is currently in the process of being put into action. There is participation from both the United States Air Force and the United States Navy. However, it's not known if the two services are working together or independently on this development. It has been hypothesized that the coatings could be the end product of a decades-long endeavor to lessen the influence infrared signal of aircraft that possesses a high degree of radar stealth. They could also feature anti-laser qualities, which would make them a potential line of defense against weapons that use a directed energy. It is easy to see how a coating with such a high reflectivity could be useful for tactical purposes, particularly on an aircraft with a low profile. The exterior of stealth types is covered in radar-absorbing materials, which gather radiated energy rather than sending it back to the sensor where it was previously received. However, this procedure generates heat, which can result in an increase in the infrared signature of the aircraft. A reflective coating could reflect light, reducing the impact of radar absorption on the amount of heat generated. Since at least 1993, when the service applied a mirror-like substance on an F-117 for 4 testing flights as part of a program with the codename Senior Spud, it is a method that the United States Air Force has been researching for quite some time. There was a clear demonstration of the coating's negative effects on those flights. In other words, the IR benefit of adopting a mirror treatment would come at the expense of the visual spectrum, as that is extremely visible in daytime. However, the USAF ultimately decided against implementing the technology throughout its entire fleet of F-117s, and it took nearly 30 years for the following generation of stealth aircraft to receive their own reflective treatments. While promising, these more recent trials have been small in scale, like the 1993 testing, and it is unclear whether the Air Force or Navy intend to apply the coatings to operational airframes. Experts on stealth coating predict that the new mirror material will be able to reduce the aircraft's infrared signature from the front and side hemispheres. In the long run, the material will become a new, higher level of protection for fifth-generation fighters, as well as a kind of response to infrared search and surveillance systems, IRSTs, advanced types of which are currently being distributed around the world and are installed on the majority of enemy fighters. Because of this, there's a compelling case to be made for eventually implementing reflective coatings across a larger range of applications. A growing number of air forces, most notably the Russian and Chinese air arms, are installing passive infrared sensors on their fighter aircraft. These could give a fighter the ability to detect opposing planes, including stealth platforms, without having to switch on its own radar and so reveal its location to the opponent. As infrared becomes a more popular means for air forces to detect stealth aircraft, it becomes increasingly important for operators of stealth aircraft to avoid being detected on the infrared spectrum. The United States Department of Defense is developing its own airborne infrared sensors for aircraft, such as the F-15 and the FA-18EF. Infrared invisibility isn't the only benefit, though. Directed energy weapons are currently the focus of research and development efforts by every major military in the world. Mirror-like surfaces are an effective protection against laser weapons because they reflect the majority of the focused energy rather than absorbing it until it reaches an intensity that can inflict damage. The new upgrades on the F-35 are going to change the future of air combat if they can be applied practically in the coming days. Do you think these mirrors finishing on the F-35 surface are going to help make it more unobservable to the enemy? If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for everyday aviation updates. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next video.